outside broad daylight. I had to walk into a corner and I began to cry. Hey, what's up, y'all? This your boy, Nate Almighty, aka the Global Dark Skin Ambassador, with another video. I like to talk about parenting and disciplining your children. I've had to spank my oldest son, Cameron, a handful of times. I would say in his 8-year life, maybe about 4 times. But the first time I really had to spank him, like literally spank him and discipline him, like for real, was maybe 2-3 years ago. And I cried. It hurt me a lot. I'm making this video because I like to know if this has happened to any other parents, mothers included, but especially fathers. The first time I had to discipline my son for real, other than like a smack on the hand or like a gentle smack upside the head, his mother called me and told me that he was acting up in school, talking back. Anyone who knows my son knows that he's a slick talker. He's highly intelligent, very inquisitive, asks a lot of questions, not afraid to tell you what's on his mind. He's one of those smart kids that will only pay attention when he feels like it. So I'd already told him maybe 2 or 3 times that if he was acting up in school, I was going to spank him. He had never had a real spanking before, like I said. And on this particular day, his mother called me, told him he was acting up again. And as a father, I kind of felt like, okay, I told my son 2-3 times already to stop acting up. So I wasn't angry, but I felt that it was very necessary for me to show my authority. So I went to the hood. I seen my son. I sat him down. I spoke to him. I said, hey, so you acting up in school again. After I told you 2-3 times to sit your ass down, do your work, and leave. Yes, you're only about 6-7 years old, but you understand right from wrong. You're a highly intelligent child. You don't have any mental deficiencies or anything. I raised you. I know how intelligent you are, and I know that you literally do whatever you want sometimes. He said, okay. I said, what did I tell you? For every action, there's a reaction. You can do anything you want in this world, negative or positive, but there will be a consequence for it, whether negative or positive. He then told me he understood. So then I told him, you know there's a consequence, like I told you, for acting up in school. He said, yeah. So then I grabbed him. He was saying no. He started crying already. I put him over my knee. I pulled his pants down to show his bare bottom. And I took my hand and I struck him, I would say 3 to 5 times. But I definitely applied pressure because I felt like it was necessary for him to remember the pain. I'm 29 years old. I grew up being disciplined the old school way, which is whoop your ass with the belt. Get something thrown at your head. I've had toys thrown at my head. I've been slapped so many times, sometimes by mistake. I've been caught fresh out the bath, getting whipped with the belt. I've never hit any of my children with a belt. I never hit my children with anything but my hand. But I remember disciplining my son. him crying, him getting over it that same night. And I remember thinking nothing of it that night. But I remember being at work. I used to work for Amazon, walking around in the streets, doing deliveries. And I remember thinking about it and being overcome and overwhelmed with a huge amount of sadness and guilt. And as a father, this is something that I never felt before. And outside broad daylight, I had to walk into a corner and I began to cry. I called my mom. My mother picked up, and I explained to her that I feel bad for disciplining my son. While I'm crying, she explained to me, now you know how I felt all these years where I had to discipline you for acting up, and how I always told you that as a parent, it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. You're going to suffer a little bit of pain, and you're going to watch TV or get some candy later, and you're going to be all right. But as a parent, there's like a pain and a slight guilt that comes with disciplining your children, even though you have to discipline your children. And although I know for a fact that I wasn't being abusive, it's literally the first time I struck my child in any way. And a day or two later, I found myself in the middle of Manhattan, in the corner of a building, bawling, shedding tears. And I finally understood what my mother meant when she said, it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. And even till this day, when I think about that first time, it chokes me up a little bit sometimes. Because, as a parent, if you really love your children, the last thing you want to do is harm them in any way. But it's like a double-edged sword. It's like you don't want to harm them in any way, but you also don't want your kids to grow up and be assholes. You don't want your kids to grow up and not understand that there's a consequence. When you're raising kids, when you're raising Negro kids, melanated kids, black kids, it's important as a father to establish an authority and let your children know that there's always an authority figure over you, because it's like you're going to hold back when you discipline your black child. But the police, they might not hold back. They might beat the shit out of your kid, and they also might shoot your kid and kill your kid. And we know how it goes in America. They get off. And, that's just a lesson as a parent that I had to learn. And it sits with me to this day. I've had to spank my son maybe 2-3 more times after that. But it never stung in my heart as much as it did that first time. So I suggest to any parents, if you have to discipline your children, do it out of discipline, not out of anger. Don't be angry while you're disciplining your child. Always explain to your children before and after what they did wrong, so they can understand that this is going to get me this result and this is going to get me a different result. But that's me speaking from a father's perspective. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think, guys. Peace.